what are they called? River City Underground. That's what it's called. River City Underground. There we go. I have never played a River City game before. So this is coming from the context of somebody who, well, actually I lied. I played some of it on Switch Online, but I didn't get very far. I was playing it 2 players with my dad, and the frame rate was a nightmare. But I think this might be my first River City game. But I think it's from a different team than the traditional team that does, like, the franchise has been around so long, I'm sure tons of people have touched it, but I think it is not technically a mainline game in that franchise or whatever. But yeah, it's basically like a little chibi brawler kind of thing. I think the Japanese series of the name is called Kunio-kun. And I feel like what is interesting about this game particularly is that it is has a diversity of characters. So I don't remember how many total characters there are, but I was playing in a group of 4 people, and so there's like 4 characters in the beginning, and I think you maybe unlock another, like, let's say somewhere between like 5 and 8. I don't know for sure. Don't check me on the math. But each character kind of plays in their own unique way. I played as Paul, which is like the boxer, and it sounds like Paul is maybe the most broken way to play the game. So I don't know if I chose a good way to play the game or the worst way to play the game, because most of the game for me was just punching. But there's a lot of characters that are like grappler types, or they might have like a more like, you know, Ryu moveset for like the Street Fighter character with like Hadoukens and things like that. But when you first start the game, it is everyone's having that very much like Double Dragon, just kind of like everybody punch everybody kind of thing. You're like moving between the lanes up and down and all that kind of stuff. So, the way you kind of build your characters to doing like upgrades and things like that. So as you kill enemies, you like get money, and that is really where the point of tension is with this game, where basically you sit down and you you kill enemies to get money, basically. And when you die, you lose, I believe it's half your money. So as you're trying to like save up and buy things, you really want to like try to hold on to all your money if possible. But in the case of at least multiplayer, I played this 4-player with some friends. You know, when you die, you respawn back pretty much immediately, but you lose that money basically. So that's really the point of tension of making sure that like you don't die, so you can continue to upgrade. And if you don't maintain your health, if you're not precious with your money, you'll end up falling behind in a multiplayer session for sure. I was very fortunate where I just, again, punched everybody, and I did really well. But you can level up through like eating food. You can also buy different moves, so your base moveset expands. Again, with Paul, I mostly just kept punching, so we didn't really play a role. But a lot of the other characters, it seemed like their new moves and stuff like that gave them some pretty substantial new capabilities, being able to like slide across the screen and things like that, or you know, like I mentioned earlier, throw like a Hadouken or something like that along those lines. So it's a bit of an open world game. So you kind of like navigate the city like kind of screen by screen, and kind of go wherever you want. I think there are like barriers that kind of keep you from going everywhere at all the time. So it is very much a game where you're just kind of like walking through left and right and just trying to get to whatever the goal is. And usually there's like a boss fight there. The bosses in this game are just kind of not super interesting. They all kind of are the same tactic of just like wait for them to attack and then go just like hit them kind of thing. I think this game lacks a lot of depth in general. Like, as much as all the cool moves are, the diversity moves are throughout the game, and like there being some level of tension there with the money, I think the thing that like is a little frustrating, and maybe this is true for all of River City games and I just don't understand the appeal, is that like it feels like everything is just the same from moment 1 to moment 20 hours in kind of thing, right? And so I just don't really feel like there's a lot of difference of like what's going on. I don't think exploring the world's like that exciting. This is very like, I think it's like a parody game on like what's going on in the original River City games. So I don't necessarily know what's happening and like who all these characters are. It was kind of hard to follow like exactly what the lore is here. I understand there's like a lot of characters who are relevant to the past games. They'll be like, oh, this character again kind of thing, right? But it just felt like that there wasn't a lot of like depth here. I mean, I think this is a game probably made for River City fans kind of thing, right? So I don't think it's necessarily a game that's like trying to tell a very deep narrative. It's just giving you an excuse to go through and punch a bunch of people kind of thing. And I think there's like some satisfaction to the level up system, because like one of the things that's like kind of cool about the level up system when it comes to like leveling your stats is that like not only do you need to level up, but you also have to eat food. And so you don't know what food gives you what stat boosts to like power up your character. And so you kind of like go and you'll just like go into a shop and you all just like take turns like eating the different foods to see like what it does. It'd be nice if it like kept track of like what the food was. So next time you're like going back in the shop, you're like, which one gave me strength again? I don't remember, because that's like the one stat I still need. And then you waste your money on something that doesn't give you strength, kind of thing. It would have been nice if it like kept track of that stuff. But I do think it's like kind of fun to like have a question of like, I'm gonna eat this meat stick and like what am I gonna get out of it, right? Like I've never eaten a meat stick before. What's it going to taste like in terms of stats? I think it's like a cute little concept in general that I think is like pretty cool. But yeah, I think overall it's just like a pretty repetitive game. I would not say I loved it. But I think when it comes to mindless multiplayer fun, I think it's a very reasonable way to like sit down and just like play some games with some friends and don't think too much about it. It is very much, I think, the multiplayer game of on its own. I don't think this would like stand out too much on its own. That being said, it still looks like all the other City Ransom and Kunio-kun games there are, which I think a lot of those are still single player, so I may be missing something there. So if you are a Kunio-kun or River City fan, let me know like what you think is like interested in these games, because I just don't know. I never really got into them. I played like the Scott Pilgrim game as well at one point. I just couldn't get into it either. It just like feels like the gameplay is just really simple, and like even though you upgrade your character, a lot of it doesn't really feel like it matters, in my opinion. So I think that's kind of where I'm at with this game. But again, I think like fun 4-player silliness if you want that.